outstanding game shows in the history of American television. Welcome to the Game Show Hall of Fame. To be inducted into the Game Show Hall of Fame, a game show must possess exceptional characteristics that merit recognition. And Who Wants to Be a Millionaire has many of them. First, it single-handedly revived the game show genre.
It was a piece of television history, no doubt about it.
It was the best game show that I had ever seen.
Second, it was the first broadcast network game show to award a $1 million cash prize.
When someone's close to winning $1 million, you can hear a pin drop.
He's won $1 million!
Third, its futuristic set, jarring lights, and pumping music revolutionized the look and feel of game shows.
And it was exciting. And the music, the drama, all of that stuff.
And finally, it became one of the highest-rated quiz shows in the history of American television.
We're a hit! I mean a big hit! Oh, do you want to play?
Now GSN proudly inducts this groundbreaking show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, into the Game Show Hall of Fame. It's 1999, and the top shows on television are ER, Frasier, and Friends. Game shows have been almost entirely absent from primetime for over 3 decades.
You've got a lot of sitcoms that are still doing very well, and at the same time, there's a sense that television is just getting old.
And at one network, ABC, television isn't just getting old, it's floundering.
ABC was in last place and really needed something to work.
Enter Michael Davies, the 32-year-old head of a little-noticed division known as reality programming.
At this point, reality television wasn't even a real concept or any kind of idea in America.
A transplant from England, Davies made his name in the U.S. creating the game shows Det and Win Ben Stein's Money in the early 90s. And now, in 1998, he thinks a primetime game show is just what the network needs.
The idea that reality shows or game shows or variety shows could work in primetime was seen as, like, heresy. But for me, it just felt like, oh my God, you've got to do something different.
Davies hears about something different being developed in England. It's an intriguing game show conceived one night by 3 writers in an unexpected place.
How incredible to think that started with 3 guys having a beer in a pub.
The show has a simple concept.
You've got the contestant in the hot seat, you've got the host asking the questions, and the contestant works their way up to the $1 million.
It's called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And it premieres in England on September 4th, 1998.
Everybody talked about it the next day. There was headlines in the newspapers about it. Magazines went crazy.
I got family to record it, its first night on the air. 2 days later, I received about 8 FedEx packages of the first episode because I'd had so many people record it.
He is blown away by what he sees.
For me, it was, one of those very rare moments.
I'm so stressed out now.
That sort of revealed truth moment when everything you know to be right about television happens right there in front of your eyes.
Tightrope walking, conjuring.
Game shows previously were shows in which it was usually a host as a traffic cop and 3 contestants behind buzzers racing against each other. And on this show, it was close up. It was the host intimately involved.
You worry me.
It was the movie soundtrack, the movie lights. A game show completely and utterly played as drama.
Convinced Millionaire can be a hit in America, Davies sets out to bring the show to ABC. But Davies' bosses don't quite see his vision.
They were kind of like, meh. No.
Davies shocks everyone by quitting his job at the network to launch the show in the U.S.
Michael went really aggressively and said, I need to make this show. I'm betting my whole career on this show.
Davies' first move as an independent producer is to attach a celebrity host.
There was conversations about Bob Costas, there were conversations about Phil Donahue, there were conversations about Peter Jennings.
One name is noticeably missing from the conversations, Regis Philbin. But that changes when Regis sees an episode of British Millionaire.
I was just blown away by it.
I'll never forget it. He called me and it was really impressive.
I told him, Michael, I love this show and I really would love doing it.
You know, most of the time in my business, you had to convince people to host these kind of shows. You didn't have people like Regis calling you up and saying, I would do anything to host this television program.
With Regis on board, Davies approaches his former employer, ABC, again. Finally, they agree to back the show. Now Davies has to get the show made in just 5 short months.
Hi everybody, I'm Michael Davies. I'm the executive producer of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. First of all,
from casting contestants to writing questions to styling Regis's suits, every element has to be perfect when the show hits the air. As the team starts out, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire looks nothing like a future Hall of Fame inductee.
It was all brand new to everybody. It takes a while for you and everybody else to get in sync.
I was briefing the audience. I was briefing the contestants.
make sure you remind them how much time
I was picking every question. I was in the control room. I was in the edit all night.
He really demands perfection, and he's right. Roll up your sleeves, get it on, and get it on right.
Getting it right is one thing. Getting the audience to actually tune into a primetime game show is another.
I remember when I went to press tour before we launched, we were greeted with derision by the nation's press. The idea that we would do a game show for $1 million in prime time with Regis PHILBIN. Like, what were we thinking about? We were out of our minds.
On August 16th, 1999, Michael Davies' gamble is put to the test.
13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 27, 8, 2.
Welcome to the premiere of the biggest, most exciting, most dramatic television program that I or you or anyone else has ever seen.
For Davies, it's a night of adrenaline-pumping exhilaration and uncertainty.
I was never convinced it was going to go and work. I was just convinced that I wanted to go and do it.
Coming up, find out how Millionaire makes TV history.
This show is a runaway beer truck careening downhill out of control.
Plus, the Game Show Hall of Fame reveals some things you might not know about Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. What was the original title of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? A. Show Me the Money. B. Millionaire Magic. C. Cash Mountain. D. Money, Money, Money. The answer when we return.